Okay, moving on, we're going to talk about inequalities now. This is from 4.4. So properties of inequalities, the addition property. If A is less than B, then A plus C is less than B plus C, meaning you can add the same thing to both sides and the inequality symbol stays the same. Now the multiplication property says if A is less than B and C is positive, then multiplying both sides by the same thing keeps the inequality symbol the same. But if A is less than B and C is negative, then A times C is greater than B times C. It switches the sign. I mean, think about that. 1 is less than 2. If I multiply both sides by, so negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 2 is greater than negative 4. So we multiply both sides by negative 2, and that caused the sign to switch. So we're going to solve these much like we would solve an equation. So I'm going to add, like 3x, I'm doing example 3. 3x minus 2 is less than 1, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So 3x is less than 3. Then I want the x by itself, so I divide by 3, and x is less than 1. So it's going to be negative infinity up to 1. Let's solve the next one. I want to get the x's. Now my approach to this is I like to have my variable on the left side. And this could just be a me thing, so you can do it your own way, but it's easier for me to interpret it if I have the variable on the left side. So I'm going to subtract the 2x from both sides and subtract the 7 from both sides. I end up with the 2x is greater than or equal to negative 10. Divide by 2, x is greater than or equal to negative 5. So my interval is going to be negative 5 to infinity. Next one, we got some fun-filled fractions. So solve the inequality and write the answer using interval notation. Okay, well, I guess I'll subtract that 1/2 x, and I'll subtract the 4, so I'm putting the variable on the left side and the constants on the right side. So I have negative 3/2 x, and you're asking how did I get that? So that's negative 1 times x plus negative 1/2 times x. So negative 1 plus negative 1/2 is negative 3/2. So I'm not always going to spell those out because at some point we keep moving on, but I felt it's okay at this point. Is less than or equal to negative 3. So when you're dealing with fractions, I think the easiest thing to do is multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal in this case is going to be, I'll just do it over here, negative 2/3 times that negative 3/2 x is, now that's going to switch the sign, makes it greater than or equal to negative 3 times negative 3/2. Oh, it was negative 2/3, excuse me. Okay, so that, change this color here, I like to go to red. I want the red now. So the negative 2 and the 3's. So by the way, on the left side, negative times negative is a positive. So that's just going to be x is greater than or equal to. And on the right side, we have the negative 3 here. And the negatives cancel, leaves us with just a 2. So it's going to be 2 to infinity. Okay, the next one. Okay, yeah, this will be it for this video here. So let me go on to another video of compound inequalities. Same thing, I'm going to subtract 8/3 x from both sides. And that's going to be what? I have negative 5/6, both negative, so plus negative 8/3. I need to multiply this by 2/2, so negative 5/6 plus negative 16/6 gives me negative 21/6. Boy, that's getting kind of messy. And this reduces to be negative 7 halves if we divide out 3 out of the numerator and denominator. So we have negative 7 halves x is less than or equal to 3/4. And now we want to get the x by itself. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal here. So that'd be negative 2/7 times that negative 7 halves x. And we multiply by the negative, it switches the sign, so it's greater than or equal to 3/4 times negative 2/7. So on the left side, these divide out, that divides out. On the right side, so I have this 3/4 times negative 2/7. And the 4 and the negative 2 reduced makes that a negative 1. So I get negative 3/7. So x is greater than or equal to negative 3/7, unless my math is off, and hopefully someone will tell me. And that would be negative 3/7 to infinity. Okay.